There's a shift happening in the global smartphone AI ecosystem, and that is the rise of the AI local strategies in emerging markets, particularly across Africa. A lot of today's AI development in smartphone is designed around assumptions that simply do not hold true for many of the emerging markets. Assumptions such as always on connectivity, high-end hardware, cloud-first computing, and larger scale data infrastructure. However, these assumptions they remain a major constraint in today's emerging market reality. Most of the global AI systems are optimized for mature markets where users have access to 5G networks, powerful flagships, and reliable cloud infrastructure. But for the African markets, there are multiple challenges. Challenges such as consistent network connectivity, entry-level smartphones, limited RAM and storage capabilities, and high cost of internet. So emerging market AI is not simply a scaled-down version of the global AI, but it requires a completely different architecture. The architecture, which is edge first, which is lightweight, localized, and utility driven. And this is where the localization has become a strategically important factor for majority of the smartphone vendors, because the challenge is not just translating the AI into local languages, but the challenge is making the AI understand the local pain points and realities. Now, let's see some of these existing constraints in the African markets, starting with the camera and imaging technology. The standard imaging model on smartphones are often trained on lighter skin tones and controlled lighting environments, which might not work completely in case of majority of the African countries. As a result, the smartphone vendors, they must invest into localized AI imaging datasets, regional specific tuning, and on-device computational photography, which will solve the camera and imaging issues in the emerging markets. Now, the second major issue is around language. Now, majority of the African markets, they rely heavily on the multilingual communication because African consumers, they often mix languages, for example, mixing English language with the local language such as Swahili, and they also have local dialects. Therefore, the global AI models, they kind of struggle during translation use cases, especially in Africa emerging markets. As a result, the smartphone brands, they must focus on localized speech recognition to cater these local language pain points in these markets. Going forward, the companies which will succeed in the emerging markets will not necessarily be the ones which are kind of investing on creating a larger foundational models, but actually the ones which are building a more effective localized ecosystem. This is also wherein you will involve partnership between both global and local providers of cloud infrastructures, your silicon vendors, your telco operators, and local developers. Hence, this will result in vendors providing a lightweight AI-optimized model in a sub $200 affordable smartphone device for these markets. We believe is that the first phase, which is currently going on, is of the AI adoption likely to be utility-driven, which involves features such as your imaging, your voice assistants, your AI assistants, and then eventually in the long term, which will translate into agentic AI-led use cases. So in the short term, we believe AI localization will be a key differentiator for smartphone vendors, especially in the emerging markets. We are studying this particular subject very closely. Please get in touch for more details. Thank you.